G'day guys, Aussie Mark here. Just got home from work and felt the urge to knock out a video, and we might just have a quick look at my EDC loadout, and in particular this little Maxpedition pack that I recently picked up. This is a Maxpedition mini pocket organiser, and I chose this one after sort of looking at a few other guys' videos and seeing what was available, and so we'll get into that. I'm not going to look at it in isolation, however. Just before we get into that, I'd talk about my philosophy. I've got the organiser with some bits and pieces in it and extra gear. That tends to ride around in my, I've got like a briefcase, a soft type briefcase. I work in a job where I wear basically business shirt, slacks, so I don't have cargo pockets to cart something this size around. So that's all my extra gear, but I've also got gear that I carry on me at all times and I can just have in my pocket. So I'll just run you through that, and that kind of combines into this system, I guess, that I have going. So just in my my top shirt pocket, I've got two items. Generally one is pen, always need a pen, and I carry a Preon 2 by 4.7's flashlight, which is a really great thing, and that just fits in my pocket and sits beside my pen, so I've got torch capability there at all times. Keyring, everyone's got fancy keyrings. I don't have a lot on mine except keys, but significantly I've got a little S being on here, and living on there is a Leatherman Squirt PS4, which is also a relatively recent purchase, and wait till for review. Most of you guys are familiar with it. Great little tool. I can use it on the keyring. Of course, I can take it off and use it, or I can, I've got an S-beaner there for any other purposes I might have. So that's a multi-purpose sort of a setup that I've got there. Other pocket, hanky. I generally don't use them for the usual purpose. I keep them clean. Everything from cleaning sunglasses to it could make a wound dressing, whatever you might need. Handy thing to have. Mobile phone, of course. Old-fashioned junky one, but it's got really long battery life, which I like. And most importantly, EDC knife. Now this is, I'm straight from work, so this has been out to work with me today. This is the Spyderco Ambitious. This one, where I live, it's not really considered particularly fashionable to have knives on show, so this just rides down to the bottom of my pocket. So yeah, it's a small blade, but strong enough and it's well and truly capable enough to do my needs, so that goes around I think. Okay, so into the pack, just really quickly. I'm not going to do a review on the bag, you'll see that the bits and pieces as we go. Size on it, however, we'll just quickly show you that. You're looking at about 6 inches roughly in length, around a bit over 4 inches in width. Now this is packed up pretty well, so it's a bit fatter than it might normally look, I guess. I'm running it just under probably 2.5 inches in thickness there, so as you can imagine that wouldn't fit in the trouser pocket. So we'll dig into it. Just in the front there's a mesh pocket here, and in there I've got on some plastic, just flat plastic, some it's not duct tape, it's cloth reinforced tape, but it's similar to duct tape. I won't take that out. For me to get that out, I've got to open the pack just because of the bulkiness. But we'll unzip the little pack and dig in. It opens right out. Most of you guys are familiar with this pack, and I'll show you what I've got in here. So we'll just go on the left side. Got another torch. This one is a Streamlight Stylus Pro, and it's a AA or 2 AA battery size, the same as the other torch I showed you. So there's compatibility between those two torches. And also in here we've got 2 spare AA batteries for the torches. We've got a pen, just a normal everyday black pen, and this one's a fine permanent marking pen if I need to write anything on surfaces other than paper or whatever. And that covers that side. In the back pocket here I've got a plastic bag that has a heavy duty plastic bag with a little clip on it, and convenient enough, perfect size to fit in there. And in that I've got a first aid kit. Very rudimentary minor first aid kit, or small first aid kit, and I'll just take you quickly through that. In here I've got a little snap-lock bag, and there's 2 disposable gloves in there. Actually what I might do is I'll just tip this out. This is like a kit within a kit, I guess, the first aid kit. So that's the little bag. We have of course got band-aids, probably the most useful thing you have in a first aid kit, I guess. A little bit of Elastoplast, which is kind of like a band-aid, but you can trim it to size, just a small piece. I've got some paracetamol there. Importantly, they're out of the box, but you can see there on the back I've got the expiry date. These expire on March of the year 2012, or May, sorry, 2012. So always a good idea to do that, have the expiry date on anything you carry on like that. Got some medical tape, again that's just wrapped around a bit of plastic, enough there to get me out of trouble. Safety pin, a couple of alcohol swabs here. There's a whole strip of those actually. They fold down to virtually nothing, and these are really good. These are betadine swabs, antiseptic swabs. So I've got a few of those in there as well. And that gives me a little bit of capability to deal with things like, you know, abrasions, cuts, that type of thing, just your minor first aid. The only other thing on that side, there's a little key retainer strap in these bags, which I'm not using for keys, but what I've done, I've attached that little thing I happen to have laying around. There's a little pocket compass. Now, in the event that, you know, I need to navigate my way out of trouble, if the zombie apocalypse hit us or something, and I'm assured it will hit us, I can obviously detach that, and I can use that, or you could even leave it in there, mount this bag somehow on your side. I'll talk about how I might do that in a minute, and zip it around that so that would hang out, and you've got that navigation capability there. I don't expect to ever use that, to be honest, but it was something to put on there. It's only a cheap little compass, but I've tested it against my more expensive compass, and it's surprisingly, it's pretty well spot on. Alright, over to the right side of the bag, we've got just a standard everyday disposable lighter. I was going to use a mini one, but this just fitted better in the loop and retained better, so I threw the full size in. This is a fire starter. I can't remember the brand of this thing. I've put a little loop on here of paracord just because that makes it easy to use. It just unscrews on here, and that's your ferrocium rod there. And up the end here you'll see there's a bit of 440C stainless, and the idea is you're supposed to put that on there like that, and away you go. I don't really like that striker, but better to use it with a knife, the side of your knife. But I have got a, it doubles me up on fire starting. I've got the lighter, but I've also got the fire starter there. I think in your kit you should be able to have some fire lighting ability. And importantly, got some paracord. There's 2 meters of 550 paracord there. And again, 2 meters isn't much, but it's sure as hell better than not having anything at all. In the back, notebook. It's a new one. I took quite a few of the pages out just to slim it down, just to reduce the amount of weight and thickness of the bag. And last but not least, in the back there's a little loop you can see there stitched in. And what I've got on there is just a light duty carabiner. Multiple uses for one of those. Of course, it could be anything from if I needed to carry the bag, I could probably put that on there and loop it over my back and just carry it slung off a belt. You know, 101 uses for carabiners. I've actually got 2 of those, of course, if you consider I got an S carabiner over on the keys there that I showed you earlier. So it gives me a little bit of capability. And lastly, a backup knife, just in case something happens to my primary knife. This is a Sanram Mu Model 733. It's narrow, it's flat, it's a decent sort of knife. It's not a primary knife, but it's got HCR 13 MOV steel, razor sharp, and again that's just a backup in case something happens to my primary knife. Additionally, I suppose with the 2 torches, 2 knives, if I found myself in a situation where it was an emergency and I had to share resources with someone, team up with them, I could equip them with a torch, I could equip them with a knife, and you know, we could help each other out potentially. So that's it, that's the bag, it's emptied. Most of you guys move this bag, bit of molly on the back, handle. Seems a really well constructed thing. I'll just dig that bit of tape out. There's not a lot there, a little bit of that sort of cloth reinforced tape. And that's my loadout. That's early days, it's subject to change. I guess like everything, I'm always learning and adapting my kit. So yeah, look, thanks for watching. Video's gone a bit longer than I meant it to. Sorry about that, but hope you found that useful. And always looking for more ideas. And to the guys whose ideas I've looked at and stolen and borrowed from, thanks for your videos. They've been really helpful to me in setting this up. Alright guys, all the best. Cheers. Bye bye.